and her husband, they committed perjury. Fred Trump stated that she was a naturalized citizen. She did not actually become one until March 10th, 1942, 2 years later. So they lied and perjured themselves and a U.S. citizen about the president of the United States, who is kicking everyone out of the country for staying longer than their visas. His own mother did this for 11 years. How ironic is that? Because Trump's mother, an illegal immigrant, Mary Ann McLeod, Scottish Gaelic. There's a lot of witchcraft over there in that country. I'm not accusing her of any of that. I am accusing her of being an illegal immigrant for apparently 11 years. I'm getting to be an old man. Need glasses now. So, Mary Ann Trump McLeod, Scottish Gaelic. May 10th, 1912, birthday August 2000. Was a Scottish-American socialite and philanthropist who was the wife of real estate developer Fred Trump, mother of 5 children. Actually, she was a broke immigrant who came here with $50 back then. They say it would have been the equivalent of $900 today. Was in the country on a visa. We'll get to that. Which back then, my research that I've done, the longest visa issued back then was for 11 months. She stayed for 12 years before she became a British subject. Her citizenship, British subject, several terms. Before 1949, it referred to almost all subjects of the British Empire. Between 1949 and 1983, the term was synonymous with a Commonwealth citizen. Currently refers to people possessing a class of British. So there is actually no record of her ever becoming an American citizen. Interesting thing about his father, whose middle name Christ, Frederick Christ Trump Sr. Now, why in the world, his mother, I had to look, why in the world would you name yourself with Christ in your middle name? But turns out it was his mother's maiden name. So let's call it Christ. Antichrist grandmother's last name was Christ. Elizabeth Trump Christ. She was a businesswoman in 1902. Oh, this gets interesting too, because she married Frederick Trump, who died in 1918. E. Trump and Son with their son Fred to manage the increase. But this doesn't mention this here, but the reason they called it E. Trump and Son was so that it could be genderless, and they didn't know it was Elizabeth Christ. How do you get the last name Christ? Why would you? That's like naming your kid Jesus. I mean, I know people do that in other countries and stuff, but Jesus or whatever, that was the name above all names. It was not to be used for other people. Anyhow, so born Scottish, she was immigrated in the United States in 1930, became a naturalized citizen in March 1942. So in her early life, she was born in the village of Tong on the Isle of Lewis, raised in a Gaelic-speaking household. She was the youngest of 10 children born to Gaelic Scottish parents. It's just a part of Scotland over there, where $2 equivalent to $945. 2024, McLeod lived with her older sister, Christina Matheson, in the Astoria, Queens, and worked as a domestic servant for at least 4 years. One of those jobs has appeared to have been as a nanny for a well-to-do family in a New York suburb, but the position was eliminated due to economic difficulties caused by the Great Depression as 2016. This is where she meets Trump's father, real estate holdings, and also arrested at a KKK rally. But there's no... let's skip to there real quick, see if I can find. Trump's father was arrested at a KKK rally. Although, in 1927, Trump was arrested at a Ku Klux Klan demonstration. And that cross there is not the cross of Jesus. The equal-sided cross is the sun worship, S-U-N, not S-O-N. Demonstration, but there is no conclusive evidence that he supported the evidence. Now, this is the kind of crap we have to deal with as peasant citizens of Britain ourselves, because you were sold to Britain. Your birth certificate, you were sold back into slavery at birth, if you didn't know that. You are traded on the New York and British Stock Exchange as a slave. Your number on the back of your Social Security card, the blue number, is your slave number. And that is what's traded. Your Social Security number is also your slave number. They steal from that account you pay into. If you added that money up, if you made any decent kind of money, you'd be better off paying that into a mutual fund or something. You would end up with 17 times the amount of money that we all put in. But that's just the government has screwed you your whole life. And no one, because I'll tell you, there's no conclusive evidence that he supported the organization. He was arrested at a KKK demonstration, but there's no conclusive evidence that he supported the organization. Now you're going to buy that. You're probably going to buy that Trump's not on the Epstein list. From World War II onward, to avoid associations with Nazism, Trump denied his German ancestry and also supported Jewish causes. Trump's grandfather, they moved back to Germany. They didn't like America. They moved back to Germany. So you can also look that up if you want to look up Elizabeth blaspheming Christ Trump with her name, and then Trump's own father, not grandfather, father. He's that old. Born in 1905, Trump's father, Frederick Christ Trump, father of the Antichrist, ironically enough, or beast of Revelation. Look at you, child molesting face. Here, she was recorded and living in New York by April 1935. In the 1940 U.S. Census, though the 1940 U.S. Census form filed by Mary Ann and her husband, they committed perjury. Fred Trump stated that she was a naturalized citizen. She did not actually become one until March 10th, 1942, 2 years later. So they lied and perjured themselves and a U.S. citizen about the President of the United States, who is kicking everyone out of the country for staying longer than their visas. His own mother did this for 11 years. How ironic is that? Because this is the rules for thee and not for me. Because this is still royalty. You still have your royal. We're the royal subjects. They're just laughing at us. And I'm still MAGA. I still want to make America, but it's not really. We're not America. We're Mystery Babylon. So make Mystery Babylon great again. It has never been great. So you got to make something has to be great before you can make it great again. We were born into slavery. You pay half of your, just like I do. Maybe poorer than you. I pay half of everything I make into taxes. Then the other little scraps you have left over for food and rent and everything else. They let us off the plantation for nights and weekends. You're still a slave, just so you can work a second job so you can feed yourself, because they no longer feed and clothe you on the plantation. You are a slave, and so am I, and I'm sick of these